Hello friends, today we will talk about who nudists and naturists are, what they think, and what they achieve from life and society by their strange and seemingly abnormal for most modern people behavior. And besides, every year there are more and more of them. Apparently, the population of our planet has already reached the peak of its identification with nature. New technologies in travel, communication, eating, and pastime have simply reached the point of absurdity. So people are finally beginning to wake up from this terrible nightmare. They think about ecology, about the environment, about their health. Words like vegetarianism, raw food, sports, healthy lifestyle are becoming more and more common. And among other things, such concepts as nudism, naturism. What is nudism? Yes, real naturism and nudism is about that too. About nature, about people, about health. If you're not sure about that yet, let's go over together what nudism is all about. What is the difference between nudism and naturism, and who are nudists anyway? Of course, nudism as a phenomenon did not emerge recently, but has existed for a very long time. In ancient times, for example, sports were performed in the nude. Many ancient pagan ceremonies of our ancestors were also performed in the nude. It was only later, with the advent of Christianity, that nudity ceased to be a cult. But it came back to us in the early 20th century. Now nudism among people who have realized the need to live in harmony with nature or who are tired of the cult of modern dead man-made society is rapidly gaining momentum. There is a reason for this, as the trend has clear advantages. So who are nudists, or rather, what kind of people become nudists? Who are the naturists? There is a certain division between nudists and naturists. It's like nudists are those who just get naked. Naturists have their own philosophy, they lead a healthy lifestyle, they refuse smoking, alcohol and meat, they take care of the environment. As for me, this division into ours and yours is inappropriate. It would be more correct to say that there are ordinary naturists and more conscious ones who are called real naturists. Therefore, we will not divide these two notions. But if you want to know the scientific definition of naturism, naturists are simply children of nature who have decided to return to a happier and more conscious life, something like the enlightened or the hippies. Now let's talk in more detail about nudism and examine a few of the most common issues it directly affects, especially those that make this modern worldview seem mostly strange and perhaps even wild or uncomfortable. Is it comfortable for nudists? Of course, being a naturist is very convenient. If you don't think so, then you haven't tried it. Such a simple thing, which does not really refer to nudism, as sleeping naked, for example. At night rest is needed, not only the brain, but also the nervous system and the body. And sleep will be much more productive if you will not be constrained by anything unnecessary. Nothing. So you'll wake up in the morning more rested. Also, if possible, if you live on your own, or your loved ones share your hobby, walk around the house naked. Again, rest the body and the brain. A certain sense of security, relaxation. It's also a good way to learn to accept yourself, your body. And, of course, the most common place where nudists congregate is nudist beaches. It's an incomparable experience to dip into the water in your mother's clothes. The feeling of freedom and unity with the elements is off the scale, and the tan will be smoother. Another point of convenience is that there is no need to carry swimming gear, wait until the swimsuit or swim trunks dry, and look for a beach changing room. And since among nudists there is a not insignificant percentage of walruses, or just people who like to swim in the autumn and spring, maintaining their immunity and health, clothing becomes generally irrelevant. Since in winter, to swim dressed at all, masochism. The fabric cools down 10 times faster than the body. Therefore, coming out of the water, to feel practically pieces of ice on yourself, to put it mildly, is unpleasant. Health issue. Yes, nudism is also good for your health. Regeneration of the skin goes faster in the open air. Vitamin D, which the sun gives us, we also need the whole body, not just those areas that we are not afraid to open. And to protect against UV rays, use sunscreen. Another important aspect of body beauty and active lifestyle is that on the one hand, nudism helps you to accept yourself with all your strengths and weaknesses. On the other hand, there is a desire to take care of your body, to get it in shape, because you begin to love it, because it begins to bring you so much comfort and happiness. Is nudism moral and ethical? In the meantime, you personally just know this. I have given you nothing to be ashamed of, least of all your body and its functions. There is no need to hide your body and its functions as well as your love for them and for another person. Your television programs have nothing against showing naked violence, but shy away from showing naked love. Your entire society reflects that priority. Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God. An Uncommon Dialogue. Book 1. It's true. People raised by moms and dads of the Soviet Union era, where sex and everything associated with it was notoriously absent. Raised by our long-standing church and priests steeped in sin. People dependent on other people's opinions and often inhibited personalities. Why should you be ashamed to show your body? To love it, to pamper it? Shame should be for disrespecting nature, other people, other charters of life and creeds. What can be more natural than nudity? All the more so because adequate nudists, who do not suffer from exhibitionism, do not try to surprise anyone on purpose and undress in specially designated places. I recently observed a ridiculously absurd picture. A young mother came for a walk with her 2 kids to a nudist beach. The time of year was already cool, so everyone mostly sat clothed and breathing in the fresh air. And when one of the walruses decided to take a dip after all and began to undress, the lady indignantly asked him not to do it. There are children here. What caused laughter in all the surrounding, and the walrus including? That once again says about the adequacy of nudists. They understand that such outbursts are simply not worth responding to. Is it worth hiding nudity from children? In general, all this fencing off of children from nudity reeks, sorry to say, of paranoia. Until you tell your child that it is ugly, shameful, and uncultured, it won't even cross his or her mind. Just think about what kind of psyche and sexual upbringing someone who thinks that a naked body is not cultural should grow up with. Yes, we were brought up that way ourselves, but we are adults who are able to reconsider their views on life. So let's not traumatize the younger generation so that they don't have to relearn how to appreciate the beauty of their own bodies and love them. Of course, no one is asking you specifically to take your offspring to nudist areas, just do not fill their heads with patterns about the wrongness of the fact that someone is comfortable to rest so. In addition, if you make such remarks in front of your children, you teach them not to accept people around them, to be intolerant of opinions different from their own. That is disrespect. Nudist rules and psychology. The proper nudists and especially the naturists have their own unspoken rules. The first is that nudists leave behind a clean space. When you're naked, you feel nature and its pollution more acutely. And you don't want to be a part of this pollution at all. The second is not to take pictures or photographs without permission. This, of course, is not complex at all, it's just not ethical. And third, no sexual relations in public. That's why they freely vacation with their children. So, are you inspired to join the ranks of these brave people? How do you become a nudist? Naturally, there is no instruction on how to become a nudist or naturist. But I can give you some advice. If you do not have enough strength of mind to just leave all unnecessary social patterns and stereotypes, to do it immediately and sharply, you can start with home air baths. While you are at home, spend as much time as possible naked. Do your usual activities in this manner. It's great to dance to feel your body even more. If possible in your area, go to nature where no one will be there, deserted beach, forest, and be alone with nature. When you get used to your naked body, you can go to places where you are not alone. Of course, it's a good idea to take a like-minded person with you, it's easier that way. But you can do it alone too. The more so that the majority of modern people go even to the point that they become uncomfortable and even ashamed to be naked alone with themselves. The main rule for a newcomer who has decided to join Naturism: just do not make a frightened look and do not cover your private parts bashfully from the beginning. Otherwise you will only attract more attention. To summarize, I would like to say, undress, gentlemen. It's comfortable, useful, not scary at all and very beautiful. Yes, when you get to the nudist beach, you might be surprised how many beautiful people are around. And regardless of gender, age and build. And it is better not to ask any more about who the naturists or nudists are, try it yourself. Because people, when they get naked, take off not only their clothes, but also their masks. And there is nothing in this universe more beautiful than the true nature of man. And friend, don't forget to subscribe to the Summary Club for becoming more successful, educated, kinder and wiser every day. Save hundreds of hours and dollars spending on boring regular education. Feel free to write your opinions and questions about each video. We read all the comments. In addition, go to our official website where you can find reading materials or watch other videos on channel and links in the description. All the best.